Two Eastern Conference matchups, Champions League continues, and more drama in Philadelphia. Next on The Daily. Welcome to The Daily for Thursday, August 23rd with Greg Lalas. I'm Jason Saghini. DC United had been going through a bit of a rough patch, but things seemed to turn around last night at home at RFK against the Chicago Fire. This was a big matchup for DC, Greg, and they came out and scored 4 goals on the Fire. This was really a huge matchup actually for DC, considering where they were coming from over the last month or so in their results. Chicago came in red hot, and it didn't matter. DC came out, they looked very good going forward, especially Andy Nahar having a terrific game. Dwayne Rosario gets his 99th career goal, and that's pretty much what sets everything in motion ultimately for DC United. I think the goal really to watch in this one, though, is Brandon McDonald's header. It comes back across, and he knocks it to the far post. It is really a thing of beauty. Something a former defender can appreciate, absolutely. I suppose. The other game last night in MLS action, the Columbus Crew, another team who's been doing very well lately, getting another win, taking the Trillium Cup over Toronto FC. Well, this was, again, Eddie Gaven really starting to show for the Columbus Crew. He's getting some goals. This one, it's a little bit of a deflection than it actually goes in, but the Crew looking very good. Federico Higuain gets his first goal for MLS. It's tightening up in the Eastern Conference now. Columbus have to consider them as a contender for a playoff spot in this one. DC, of course, and Chicago, they were 4 and 5, so they're all fighting now for those, let's say, last couple of playoff spots. Yes, you have 10, 12 games for everybody to still play, but I think it's going to come down to those 3 teams in there in particular for those 2 final playoff spots. All right, Paul Mariner not happy with Toronto's effort in that game, but he did get a goal from Luis Silva as he continues to try to push for a Rookie of the Year nod. CONCACAF Champions League action continued last night as the Houston Dynamo went down to El Salvador to take on FAS and Greg. They had a game plan, throw some big players up front, pump the ball in, and it worked with 3-header goals. It absolutely worked. And 3-header goals that got him a 3-0 lead on the road. Brian Ching, Cam Weaver, and Javon Watson all getting on the score sheet for Houston. They gave up a goal in the second half to Aguila, who I think is a very good player actually for FAS, and maybe a player that some MLS teams should look at for what he can do in the attacking third of the field. But you're right, it was all about the game plan. Houston obviously had a huge edge when it came to the physical size of their players. They got the ball wide, they put it in the middle, they sent their big guys up, and they got a couple of goals out of it. All right, in action tonight are the LA Galaxy. They host Isidro Metapan, another El Salvadorian team. You can see that game tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox Soccer. Back in MLS, the drama continues in Philadelphia with the Philadelphia Union. We've been doing this all year, Greg. Now it's John Hackworth and Freddy HOU, and they're talking about Freddy's playing time. Yeah, and I don't know how much this is drama right now. This is John Hackworth making a statement about one of his important players, Freddy HOU. Basically, Freddy was pulled out in the second half against DC over the weekend, and he looked a little perplexed. He even admitted that he was confused why he was pulled out because he was playing well. John Hackworth said, yes, you were playing well. However, I need you to play well every single game, every single minute you're on the field. And I like this move by Hackworth to come out very strong about what he expects from his player. He came out specifically and said, you need to produce every single game for us. All right, well, Philadelphia Union in action tomorrow night on the NBC Sports Network. You can see that at 7:30. They're taking on Real Salt Lake. Final note I want to mention, Greg, Extra Time Radio comes out later today. You can always get that on iTunes, Buzzsprout, or Stitcher, or at mlssoccer.com/extratime.